Hello, in this tutorial we will talk about the DML triggers. The DML triggers reference to data manipulation language. It's a special type of the stored procedure that is executed automatically whenever an event occurs on my database. I'm going to show you guys an example of the DML triggers. We have three types of the triggers. We have like for insert and for update, and I have for delete. Each one almost has the same script, but each one has own job. This one is working in case if I am inserting any data to my table. This is in case if I am updating any table, I will follow up the changes, and same thing for the delete. I'm gonna start to create a trigger for insert. I choose a table here called flights, and I choose a flights activities, which is this is my backup table. Anything that's occur on my flights tables, it will show up automatically here to my flights activities, what's happened to this table and in what day and time. Here, I'm going to say select everything to show you guys that flight activities currently is empty. All right. So I have exact these columns right here in my flights table, except this is the audit time, the time that has these actions occurred on my first table, and audit note, which is here says this row it's inserted or updated or has been deleted from the first table. Here I will my script it will says create trigger. I will name it here for the first one insert underscore flights. Okay, here I will specify for insert. Remember, we're gonna having the same script on all three, but we will change only a couple of things. You will know it later. For insert, but here make sure to specify on what table on in this database. Okay, I need it to be on this table. Okay, for insert as. Here I will declare all my columns that I know that there is activities will occur on my columns. I will pass the first column, which is this one. It's has identity. In case of insert, update, or delete, I'm not gonna use the flight anyway, because it will occur automatically or it's increase automatically. I will start here, say declare the first record called flight date time, and here it's date, and the other one at flight departure city, and this is Varchar 50, the other one flight destination city, also it's Varchar 50. Last one, which is my last column called OnTime This is int. I have another. This one I'm gonna use it as a get date whenever I'm inserting data to my second table. But this one I need to declare uh, my column for the second one, because all these columns that I declared, I'm gonna use these variables to inserting my data to my records right here in my second table. This one it's increased automatically. This one I'm gonna use the GETDATE, which is it's by default. I will insert it the current date. So I will need these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one, which is I'm gonna call it audit underscore note Varchar 50. All right, here I will say now I will start selecting my variables. The first one, flight date time. What's this variable is going to equal? Is going to equal I dot the first column from inserted I. So here I specified that the first column is going to equal I dot, which is this is the I is coming from the inserted data. I dot for the column, it's the for the first table, for the original table. I pulled the data from the original table and I added to my variable. Then I will use the variable to insert my data to my second table. Select the other one. It's flight departure city. The same thing, we will say I dot the flights of the departure city from inserted I. Select destination gonna equal I dot, instead of write it down just in case if I missed in any uh, letter, I just drag and drop it so I know that I am calling the right record or the right column. On time is going to equal I dot on time from inserted I. And the last one is the audit. The audit note, it's not here. The audit note is for me. I will say, okay, a new records has been inserted. Okay, so I will know this record, it's been inserted. I will have here this note. It's a new record has been inserted, or new record, or this record. I will say this records has been inserted. Okay, now I will insert after I called the data and insert it to my variables. I will use right now the variables to insert the data into my second column, or the backup column right here. That's the column that have my activities. Insert into the flights activities. I don't need to call this column because this has identity. Well, it will increase automatically. I will call the first one date and time and the departure city, and oh, I will continue the destination and on time and the audit time. I will use it to put the get date and the audit note. Okay, the values will be values will be the first value. It's the first value or the first variable. It will inserting data to first column, and the second one it's for the second column, and destination. And for the on time column right here, I'm gonna call the on time variable. This one, the on time. You have to follow the sequence of the values that you have, or of the columns. The sequence I mean here, like here the flight time. You have to call the flight time date time. If you put at the beginning it's the flight departure city, while you have at the first column is the flight date time, you will get an error. So I have on time, and I have the audit type, audit column or audit time. This one it's called the GETDATE. And for the audit note, I have here, my note will be here. This is my audit note. Now I see my script, it's been completed, but here I will add a message in case of insert data. This message it will show up for me. Print, I will say here insert underscore flight has been executed auto automatically to table flights underscore activities. Now let me explain again. Here I create a trigger called insert flights on this table. It will show up right here, the trigger that I created right now. It's on in case of for insert. If I insert any data to the first table, to flights table, that data that I inserted, it's gonna show up right here, and it's gonna tells me, hey, this record has been inserted to flights table. Okay, to flights table. This message is flexible. You can change it anytime by alter your trigger. And I create my variables based on the columns that I have right here, and will has the changes. And these variables, I fill out the data that's coming from the original table, which is the flights table. And then I use those variables to fill out my backup table. Okay, so let me execute it. Let me see. It's executed successfully. And this is my trigger. Let me go right here and I will say insert into flights. Before that, let me select. I'm going to show you guys both tables, flights and flights activities. Here I have only 10 records and this one is empty. And I'm gonna right now say right here insert into to show you how the triggers is gonna fire automatically once I insert in data to my first table, to flights, for the columns flight date, time, departure city, destination, and on time. The values will be, for the values, I'm gonna say this is the date and the departure city, let's say, is Houston, and the flight destination city, I'll say LA, and on time 1. Okay, now this data, it's being inserted. Let me see. Okay, this is the data that I just inserted. This is the 11, this is my date and the departure city from Houston to LA, and this data that's been inserted to first table, I have my trigger. It's been fired automatically to my flights activities, which is it's exactly the same data. It's been moved or it's been inserted here, which is extra. I have 2 columns here where it says this is the current date when this data has been inserted, and this is my notes. This records has been inserted to flight table. So I know this records has been inserted recently. This is for the insert. Get out from here. This is for the insert the trigger. So now I will go to update. It's the same as the insert. All you have to do a couple things to change the script. Here, leave it as update. I'm gonna rename it as the update because right here I have right here insert flights, and here what I say it's for update, and of course I will change my note. I'll say this record has been updated in table flights or in a flights table. This record has been updated in flights table, and everything else will be the same. I will say here insert update flights has been executed automatically to table flights activities. Okay, now I will create another trigger. Let's go right here, same as here. I will say here update flights. Okay, set I'm going to change this column. Flight date time equal to 2011, and let's go to change the departure city equal to, I'm gonna say New York, and the destination I will say like Miami, and on time I will say 0. I change all the records for the last one where flights ID equal 111. So I'll change the records for 111 to this date, and here I'll see New York, and departure city, destination city, it will be Miami, and on time it will be 0. These records that will be updated right here, it will be inserted to my flights activities, and I will say my notes here that saying this record is being updated recently. See, here it says update flights has been executed automatically to table flights activities. This is, I know this is trigger, and if I go right here, now this is the records that I've been updated recently, and it's right here, it's been inserted, and I have right here my note. It says this record has been updated in a flight table, and this is my date and time. That's the update info that's been occurred. Okay, now let's go to delete. It is the same thing. I will copy and paste, and I'll call this trigger as delete flights, and this one says for delete, this record has been deleted from flight table, but here the insert and update trigger use the inserted, but here I will say from deleted. Okay, the same thing I'll say here, delete flights has been executed automatically to table flights activity. Okay, let me see. It's been executed successfully. This is my third trigger, and I'll say here, okay, delete from flights where flight ID equal 111. At the beginning, I inserted data and then I updated. Now, this record, I will delete it. It will be deleted from here, but then it will be added right here. But let me choose another record. Let me say here 109. I will delete this one. Okay. So I will see a different records. It's been inserted right here. it's been deleted, and my note that's showing right here, it tells me there is a trigger has been fired to flights activities table. And if I go to search for 109, it's been deleted, and here it tells me, hey, this record has been deleted from flights table on this date and time right here. Okay, so this is the triggers. I'm gonna add one of these, the first one. I'm gonna add the first script in my description so you guys can use it. Just as I mentioned, change a couple things to switch it from insert into delete or update. Thank you for watching and see you for next videos.